Fire away, my friend.
All right. Who is on your Mount Rushmore of comedy? Your comedy Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore of comedy. See, here's the thing, is I feel like every comic has to say Carlin, Pryor, and Bruce, because without them, there's no stand-up as we know it. It's still Borscht Belt. It's still like Take My Wife, No Please Take Her. Like the three of them made comedy like an art form in terms of personal expression, anti-establishment. So yeah, you got to put them on, and then I would put Joan Rivers on mine. Just that brash, unapologetic female perspective, breaking down barriers, glass ceilings, funny as hell, funny, and one of the hardest workers ever, and literally funny till the day she died. So yeah, I put Carlin, Pryor, Bruce, Joan Rivers.
Awesome. Who was your biggest comedy influence?
Man, I mean, between Robin Williams and Christopher Titus's special, Norman Rockwell is Bleeding, is one of the greatest comedy specials of all time. I love that special.
Armageddon's coming. They've been talking about it since the beginning of time. Well, I say, bring it on. Because some of us need to go.
He's the guy that taught me, because I always thought I had a pretty weird childhood, obviously being a little person and everything that went along with that. He's the guy that taught me that you can have tension on stage. It can get real tension. Like it could get, oh my God. And then the release is so much bigger once you build up that tension. So yeah, Titus and Robin Williams for me.
Yeah! Oh, God. A creamed Miss spinach. Yeah!
Do you remember the very first time you ever did stand-up? And tell us that story.
Yeah. I did stand-up. Well, to tell the story completely, you have to go back before I actually went on stage. So I went to a comedy show. I was in the audience, and this was Father's Day, 2004. Father's Day 2004. I'm in the audience at the Bray Improv. There's a comedian on stage, and he starts making midget jokes. Half the audience is laughing. The half that's sitting by me is like, no, like, just like, don't laugh. Like, and then the comedian notices. It goes, what, is one of them here? And I just raised my creepy little hand in the air, like, what's up, dude? And he called me up on stage. He asked me some questions. I answered the questions honestly. I wasn't trying to be funny, but my answers got laughs. And that was it, man. That was when I decided I got to be a comic. I always thought about it. I always loved comedians. Never actually thought I could do it until I got laughs on the stage at the Improv. And yeah, the next week I went to the Laugh Factory open mic night just to watch. I thought, well, let's see how good these guys are, because I don't know if I belong here. And then going to the Laugh Factory open mic night, certainly in those days, was like, all right, yeah, I think I could go on stage right now and be funnier than the two bums and the heroin addict that just went up on stage. Like, I'm good. So yeah, I wrote jokes. Next week, went on stage, and that was 16 years ago. And it dropped out of college. I had 1 year to go at USC, and dropped out of college and started touring, man. And haven't stopped.
Wow, man, that's pretty cool. You kind of, like, the way you got into it is like anointed from one comic to a new comic, and it just all kind of happened.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool the way it happened, and I'm glad it did. That's why I'm anxious to get back to work too, because I mean, some comics are like, oh, I was a teacher before, or I was an accountant or a lawyer or something. Me, it's like, no, I've only been a comedian. I worked at Disneyland and I've been a comedian. Those are my two jobs that I've had my entire life. And they're both shut down right now. So it's like, I don't have any skills to go back on.
What's the best comedy advice you ever got?
The best comedy advice I ever got. I'm going to have to explain it. But A comedian once said to me, just remember this one thing. Nobody cares about you. Now, let me explain why that's the best comedy advice I ever got. Because comedians, we all get up in our heads all the time of like, oh my God, I did this bit wrong. I said this thing. The whole crowd thinks I suck. I walk up on stage and they hate me before I say anything. No, nobody cares. Nobody cares about you. Everyone in that audience is just going like, wow, we're at a show, somebody's talking. I could never do that. I can never do what that comic's doing. And if you bomb, they're not gonna remember it. They'll, you know, or like everyone's like, no, well, I performed this joke last week, so I can't do it again this week. They'll all know. No, they won't. Do the joke again. It's fine. Nobody cares about you, and it's just like don't be all up in your head. Don't think that you did one unfunny tweet and now you can never work again. Nobody cares. They just want you to be funny. They just want you to laugh. They just want to have a good time. So that was the best advice I got, is nobody cares about you.
What comedians are most like you? Do you see yourself in like their style or?
Well, here's the thing. I thought I was the first dwarf comic to have his name up on the Comedy Store and all that. I thought I was the first dwarf. Nope, not even close. Tanya Lee Davis has been doing this for years.
As you can tell from looking at me, yeah, I'm very down to earth.
And she's so funny, so good, so brash, doesn't give a fuck, and I love Tanya Lee Davis. So she's great, but so I guess she's like me in that we're both the little people perspective. I don't.
Are you guys are you and Tanya Lee like the only little people comics out there? And
no, there's a few others. There's Nick Novicki. He's solid. Danny Woodburn, who's Mickey from Seinfeld, he does stand up occasionally. And then when I was in Houston, Texas, talk about coming full circle. So remember I said the story of there's a comic on stage and I was in the audience, right?
Right.
So I'm at the Houston Improv. I'm doing a show and there's this dwarf in the audience and I'm cracking on him a bit. And then he starts firing stuff back at me, like during the show, but it's funny. It's not like go fuck yourself or whatever. It's funny. And I'm like, oh, what the? And I kind of stop and go, what do you do for a living? And there's a pause and he goes, I'm a comedian. And I go, what? And he's a comic. so now, granted, this is like 45 minutes into my set, so I'm about to close out. And I go, you know what? Let's see what you got. You got a sold out improv right now. Come up here. And I called him up on stage and he started doing jokes. And man, was he funny. Really funny. His name is Clinton Shorter. And I know you're like, oh, his last name's Shorter. Is he a dwarf? No, that's his real last name.
That's his real name, yeah.
His real last name is Clinton. His real last name is Shorter. His name is Clinton Shorter, Houston, Texas. Really funny. And that night, the Houston Improv saw him and started booking him after that because they saw him crush in front of a sold out audience. So it's kind of crazy how it came full circle like that.
That is cool.
Yeah.
And that's awesome that you gave him an opportunity in there and all that too.
Oh, dude. Well, when you think about the opportunity I got, you know, getting pulled up out of the crowd and walking up on stage and things like that, you got to pay it forward. It's so hard to break into this business and this industry. Everyone had help. You know, some people might say, "No, I did it all my own." No, you had a club owner that believed in you. You had a comic that took you out on the road. You had something. Like Ball had some help. So if I could be someone who helps out other comics and gets to that next level, then I would love to do that for people.
Has Netflix or anybody ever like approached you? Have you guys ever thought to do like, you know, a kind of a Kings of Comedy, like a Little People of Comedy type of thing? Has that ever come up, or you guys are against doing that?
No, trust me, I'm not against if I can get on Netflix again, I would love to do that. So I'm not against it. If someone wants to do that, I'm in. Let's get Tanya Lee. Let's get Nick. Let's get Clinton Shorter. Let's get myself, and then let's go. I'd be all for it. And I think what would happen is some people would watch for the novelty of it, and then minutes into our sets, they'd be like, "Oh, these people are funny. They're not funny because they're dwarves, or they're just funny. They're just funny people." So yeah,
and that was actually my next. Yeah, sorry to cut you off. I was actually going to say that with you, like, I haven't seen the others, but I know that with you, it's it's not a novelty. And when you do talk about your life and being a little guy, it's hilarious. Yeah. And but you are a true comedian. You know what I mean? You just know a true comedian. It's in the blood, it's in the demeanor, it's in the fiber.
Yeah, thank you.
You carry that.
Thank you. And well, I'd say this, that some people are like, well, Brad tells dwarf jokes. Yeah, because I'm a dwarf. You know, I'm not going to go on stage and talk about my experiences being 6'2". That's not my experience.
Right.
So every joke I tell will have the perspective of a little person because I don't have any other perspective. I wasn't 5'8" trying comedy, and it wasn't going well. So then I decided to be 4'4" at the hook. So yeah, I'm just trying to. I'll always write from the little person perspective, but my jokes will be beyond, like, I'm not gonna go on stage and for an hour I'm gonna go like, I can take a bath in a thimble. That's weird. Like, no, I'm not gonna do that. So yeah, just there will be a variety of topics that I cover during the shows.
Yeah, man, you're awesome. And our last comedy question here is, what is the best part for you of being a stand-up comedian?
Oh man, just there's no better feeling than writing a new joke and having the new joke work. Something you just thought of, you're like, this is gonna be good. And you go on stage, try it out, and it works. Like, think about the excitement that you have in a new relationship. You start dating someone new. It's all hot and heavy for the first month or so. We get to do that all the time with our material. Like, I have a relationship with my act, and when I get a new joke that works, ooh, this is my new toy, this is my new plaything, and I get to have fun with it. I can see where it's gonna go. Maybe it's gonna develop into a long 5-minute, 10-minute bit. Maybe it's just gonna be that one line, and that's all I'm gonna get out of it. But you know, that's the most exciting thing. And just being able to, my job is to make other people have a great night. Like, that's my job. So if I do my job correctly, everyone walks out of that room going like, wow, we're happy now. Like, it's a cool thing. It's not on the same level, not even close to the same level of, a doctor or someone who saves a life, or a lawyer that keeps someone out of jail when they were innocent. It's not even close to that. But, people leave happy. I'd say it's on the same level of the guy that brings you your ice cream sundae at the end of the night. You leave happier at the end. You leave happier. So yeah, that's the best part about being a comic for me.